Coming up on Hoge Jahns, out of the bye week and into Commanders week, Kevin Fishbain is going to join us, and we're going to talk playoffs. The NFC is super interesting right now. We're going to figure out where the Bears stand. Hoge Jahns starts right now. What's up? Welcome in. Hope everybody enjoyed their bye weekend. We are on to Commanders week and a lot of different storylines here with this one going back to last season. Johnsy, what's going on?
Good morning, boys. Kevin Fishbain is here, everybody.
Hello, Kevin.
Wow.
Good morning.
Where's
Good
the
morning.
energy? Let's go.
I'm looking at your background, John Z, and I don't know. I kind of miss when he just sat at his dining room table and had nothing behind him.
Yeah. I don't know. What's that first press pass from?
Let's see.
Oh, we're going to make a move.
It is the Packers game last year.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have the 2024 season for the Bears. The annual meeting from, this has to be 2018. Pro Bowl Media Week, 2019. We got a lot of stuff here.
Little hodgepodge of events there.
I've saved all the ones with my picture on it.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
If I did the other ones, there'd be too many. My wife wouldn't like that. So all the ones with my picture on it have been saved.
Kevin, do you save your press passes?
You know, I do. I've got a bulletin board up, conveniently not in my backdrop. And the problem is the NFL, since they upped the security, now every credential is the same. So no matter what's,
the
no matter what's, the lanyard's different. I guess the color is different for the team, but like you would go and like each team would have their own unique credential, which was kind of cool. And now they're pretty much all the same.
Look at this old one. Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Which
annual
meeting?
100 years. 100 years. Arizona Biltmore, Adam Johns, Chicago Sun-Times.
I remember racing into the ballroom because we had to have a press conference about the Bears and Packers opening the 2019 season.
I do not remember that. Maybe Pat Finley went for me.
I remember that. And then if I recall, the Bears forced a 3-and-out on the opening drive. But I don't remember anything else that happened after that.
Well, I remember they scored 3 points and Adrian Amos picked off Mitch Trubisky. That's what I remember.
Oh, that year. I remember the game, yes.
Yeah. It was not a good one. Well, welcome in. Week 5 is almost in the books. Got Chiefs and Jaguars tonight, but this is a long bye week because we're still a week away from the Bears game against the Commanders because they're playing on Monday night as well. But a couple of things we want to talk about coming out of this bye. Watched a lot of football yesterday, and Kevin, I'll start with you on this. By the way, please subscribe to all of our social channels. They're all out there. Become a diehard. Got Hoge Jahns Twitter accounts back. K Fishbain for him on Twitter. And the Breaking In Pod, where I don't know how you keep getting these guests, but
he keeps getting them.
I'm at the point where I'm almost apologizing that we were one of the guests. I mean, that's how good the guest list is getting.
But we're still number 1.
That's true.
You know, I'm not here to talk about standings, but I should thank the dedicated Hoge Jahns listeners for listening to that episode, subscribing to Breaking In with Kevin Fishbain, which is on YouTube and all your audio platforms.
There you go. Check it out. It's awesome. All right. So I was thinking about this last night. Great win for the New England Patriots on the road at Buffalo. Although the Bills did deserve to lose for those awful uniforms they decided to wear last night. I think that was really the main problem. But Drake May, you know, if you haven't watched a lot of Patriots football this year, and before last night I had not watched, a crazy ton. Statistically, in a lot of the advanced metrics, he's been pretty high, and to the point that I apologize because I made some comment last week, I think, on this show where I was like, basically criticizing his average depth of target, which is fair to a certain standpoint, but it was diminishing too much what Drake May has actually been to this point this season. And then last night was one of those to me, and I always make this argument with Baker Mayfield a lot. throw out the stats sometimes. That was just a gritty performance. He's running for his life a lot. He didn't have a lot of protection, and he threw a number of great passes along the sideline, especially rolling to his right, and made plays when they needed to be made to beat, obviously, a really good team in the Bills, who I think are still really good and could still be in the Super Bowl. They were my Super Bowl pick this year. But where I'm going with this and how it has to do with the Bears was, I think that what happened last night with the New England Patriots and Drake May is exactly what the Bears need to happen next Monday night on Monday Night Football against the Commanders. It was just like an important kind of coming out party for a young quarterback, same draft class as Caleb Williams. You throw in Caleb, will also be playing Jaden Daniels, added storyline, so even kind of more important. On a big road stage, last night was Sunday Night Football for the Patriots. This will be Monday Night Football for the Bears. And also, beyond just the quarterback storylines, I think everybody saw last night a team that's buying into a new head coach in Mike Vrabel. And I think the Bears are doing that with Ben Johnson, but another opportunity on Monday Night Football coming up next week. So Kevin, do all those storylines kind of make sense? As I'm watching that game last night, I'm just like, this is exactly what the Bears need to do next week.
Well, I can tell you those storylines are much more amenable to a Bears fan than the other storylines you're going to hear about all week heading into Bears at Washington. But it's a great point, Hogan. I think you heard afterwards, like the phrase statement win. Like it was a statement to go into. It's funny to talk about it in these terms after what the Patriots did to the Bills for about 15 years. But for the New England Patriots to go into Buffalo on Sunday night and win in that fashion, it's a statement. It's a statement for Vrabel. It's a statement for Drake May, Will Campbell. Stephon Diggs had an incredible game. The Ramondre Stevenson narrative is so fascinating to me about a guy who just has these fumble issues and comes out of the game, gets to talking to him as head coach, comes back in, makes a big play late. But you're right. Those plays, when Drake May was rolling right, you're just thinking, all right, he's going to either get sacked or throw it away. And then somehow he's able to find somebody. He seemed cool, calm, collected. I think the Baker comparison is really apt. That just guy he was just nails in the fourth quarter. So that's right. It's a big win on their stage. But Johnsy, before you, I was thinking about this and watching this game because I feel for Bears season ticket holders a lot because of what they've had to go through over the years. Imagine if you're a Buffalo Bills fan and you get tickets to that game last night and you're thinking, oh, Sunday Night Football, it's a beautiful October night. Our team's going to the Super Bowl and we're going to beat our division rival who kicked our butts for a decade. And this is going to be so much. We're 8-point favorites. This is going to be fun. And then that's what happens.
Well, that's why it's so meaningful from the Patriots side, from the young quarterback developing side. That's the overlapping story here with the Bears, right? You want your young quarterback to play well on the premier stage of football against one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Look, Jaden Daniels isn't playing up to what Josh Allen is right now. He's been hurt. The second season isn't off to a fast start like his first season was. But at the same time, like, you're on a national stage with everyone watching, everyone overanalyzing coming into the game, and everyone going to overanalyze after the game. The Bears would love to have their quarterback talked about like Drake May is right now. Just search his name on X. Like, everything is so glowingly positive. Can I just read you some stats from last night? This is from Albert Breer. Patriots QB Drake May was 13 of 14 for 184 yards in the second half and 6 of 6 for 90 yards in the fourth quarter. Ceiling's always been sky high for him. Tonight was a glimpse of what might look like if he reaches it. This is from Ben Volen, friend of the show. Drake May wakes up today ranked 5th in passing yards, 252 per game. 2nd in completion percentage, 73.9. 5th in yards per attempt at 8.24, 6th in passer rating, 107.8, and 14th in TD interception ratio of 7.72. So,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's
I was just saying to go off that, Johns, to make the Caleb comparison. You know, Drake May had the loss to the Raiders in the opener, and then like there was obvious question marks. Adam Hoge destroyed Drake May apparently last week on this show. But if you're going to go back to comparisons with Caleb Williams, rough start to the season. And to return to the Monday Night Football stage after what happened against Minnesota, and have this opportunity coming off a great fourth quarter in Las Vegas, and great final drive, you can see that those comparisons of being able to say, hey, this is who I really am. And now everybody in the country gets to see it against a really good team on the road.
Yeah. And look, there's some obvious differences. I mean, one is, Caleb's completion percentage hasn't been anywhere near what Drake's has been. I think probably, though, you look at some of the difficulty of some of the throws, I think you could probably look at the film and say Caleb's completed more of those. But I got to say, last night, Drake put some incredible passes along the sideline, and then the whole shot that set up the game-winning field goal too. So it just, I think, shifting this more to the Bears conversation, among the many storylines we'll probably continue to talk about all week. Again, it's another homecoming for Caleb Williams, and last year's didn't go the way anybody wanted. You're going to have the Tyreek Stevenson storyline, and he's been playing way better. He's had the last couple of weeks have probably been, some of his best games as a Chicago Bear. So if he can flip that narrative and get a little bit of a redemption, I know we're going to hear it from Ben Johnson and the coaches this week. We weren't here last year. We're just focused on this game this year. And I get all that. I get why you have to address it like that as a coach. But I went on this rant a couple weeks ago too, and I feel the same way. You can't overlook it too much, though, because for Tyreek Stevenson, it is real. For Caleb Williams going back home, it is real. For a lot of these players that lived it last year and lived that disaster that was, and not only the disaster that was the end of the game, but the following 10 weeks or 9 weeks to add up to 10 losses in a row. You can't tell me from a human nature standpoint that doesn't matter. So I think to dismiss it completely would be a mistake, but it is kind of a tricky thing to navigate if you're the Bears coaching staff this week when you weren't here last year.
Okay, one final thought on Drake May's performance last night.
Sure.
He was so good that the University of North Carolina got peer pressured into sharing a social media clip of his success last night. Obviously,
did they finally do it?
They did it, yeah.
Okay.
How many layers of or how do you think our old friend Brandon Faber's conversation went with Bill Belichick in terms of getting that approved?
Yeah. Bill, we have to do this.
Yes.
I know there's some bitterness towards the Patriots right now, and there's all these other, they're not letting scouts go there or whatever. But, yeah, come on. Drake May, you got to celebrate this guy. He's it's stupid not to. If you're recruiting, you got to be like, hey, he's one of us. He's a North Carolina guy. We need to promote this awesome performance. So,
he's good. Anyway, back to Monday Night Football. Part of me wants to believe that Ben Johnson, once he saw this game on the Bears schedule, fully embraced it. Like, this is something in terms of culture building that you just have to get through. It's like reliving your nightmare, being asked the questions again and again about it, like seeing the broadcast, of it again. Like, if I'm Ben Johnson, like, I embrace this. I show it. I show it to the team this week is like some coaching motivation. Like, this is how bad it is. This is unacceptable. We're getting through this together. Like, this is a culture defining week in a sense. Now I'm probably being, too dramatic here, but just from a coaching perspective, like, I would embrace this if I'm Ben Johnson. It's something we have to get through together.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he's not, to Hoge's point, like, I could see him not going into it publicly because you don't want to publicly make it bigger than it is. And you don't want to give Washington any reason to make it any bigger on their end. But you guys heard the players after the game in Las Vegas essentially say, yeah, Ben pointed out to us that we're known for not winning games like this. Mm-hmm. So I do think if you take that privately, like, I could see it coming up. And look, we've talked to Caleb about it before. To Tyreek Stevenson's credit, I thought he was fantastic talking to us over the last week because he's had these two great games. So it's a great opportunity because the thing is like they have to know like what, especially because Monday Night Football, that Hail Mary is going to be on the show and the pregame show throughout like all the time. Like you're going to see it. Do you think they'll show the handoff to Doug Kramer?
If they're going through every piece of the catastrophe that played out, yeah, I'm sure Doug Kramer will get a little bit of a starring role.
But Hoge, you're right. I think he's got to address it with the team. I think he's got to know that for a lot of those players, they're going to want this one. Yeah. And it's going to be meaningful for them. And like on the Commanders side, like what are they like? They don't have any of that kind of. That's why I don't think it comes up publicly very much, because if you're the Commanders, it really is just another game.
You do have to be careful with it though, because if you make too big of a deal about what it means in terms of like flipping the culture and getting that redemption, and then you lose,
right?
then you don't want it to be like, oh, we're still stuck here in the mud. So but
it would feel that way though, right? It would still like
it would. I think depending on how the game plays out, right? Like, if it's another sort of slugging your way through like that game last year was not pretty to watch offensively. So if this one ends up being more of a game played into the 30s and both quarterbacks look good and you're just on the wrong end of it, I don't necessarily know that would be, an indictment of things not going in the right direction. The context obviously matters. But, yeah, I guess my thinking on this is just I don't think you make too big of a deal of it. You sort of got me questioning, like, whether you said show it, and I'm like, oh, I never even really thought about that. And I'm kind of debating that in my head right now, if that's a good or a bad idea. I don't know. Like, I don't know if NFL teams really do hype videos like college teams do, but like, maybe
Ben Johnson show like a boxing match or something before one of the games. What did he show?
UFC.
UFC. Thank you. So
leading into the Dolphins joint practices.
Yeah. So I do think NFL teams use different tactics to motivate their players. But guys, just speaking of the locker room again, we all know that after that Washington game, like that's when things really started to shift for that team. Let's not forget the commentary that came out of there, like Matt Eberflus not accepting responsibility for his role in it, and players like Kevin Byard openly questioning some of his decision-making pre-Hail Mary. The coverage, the things they were doing in the secondary, like not calling a timeout to gather everybody together. Like those were the things that were being discussed immediately after that game. And then we know we started to cover it, like things started to crumble. That was the first of 10 losses in a row.
Yeah, it was 10 losses in a row.
I'll tell you what, on itself.
If I'm Jonathan Gannon this morning, I'm going to talk more about this later on CHGO Bears. I am paying attention to every. He was on Matt Eberflus's coaching staff too, so they have a relationship. Like Flus should be calling Jonathan Gannon this morning and being like, "Hey, everything I did wrong last year after that Commanders game, do it different today. This is a very important moment for you in Arizona right now." That's a little off topic, but that game yesterday was sort of reminded me of the Bears situation.
By the way, Hoge, you can use this on your CHGO show. It's a freebie. Matt Eberflus, he tells guys they have to secure the ball through the paint of the end zone. That's his thing. You have to secure it through until you get to like the painted letters. That was always his thing. So,
hey, Matt Eberflus got his win against Justin Fields this weekend.
That he did.
He did. All right. I want to do this as we talk about where the Bears stand in the NFC North. Just watching a lot of football over the weekend on the bye week. We'll kind of get to a conclusion of how realistic the playoffs might be. But I was going through the NFC teams, okay, with this question in mind. Well, really two questions. Like, which teams can you definitively say right now through 5 weeks, 4 games for the Bears, that they are, all right, they're worse than these teams? You know what I mean? Like if they were to play them in a playoff game, they're probably not coming away with a win. And then the opposite, who are they definitely better than? at this point. Like you'd look at them and be like, all right, they're at least definitely better than these teams. So let's start with the first one. Who are they definitely worse than? And I have 3 teams. I have the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think you could probably make an argument for the 49ers too, but I've watched a lot of the 49ers, and I'm not totally all in on their 4-1 record, despite that impressive win over the Rams with a bunch of guys out the other night. We'll find out later in the season because right now the Bears are scheduled to play the 49ers on Sunday Night Football in late December. Anyone else you would add to that list in terms of teams that you're like, all right, these teams are definitely better than the Bears at this point?
Well, I think you got to include the Vikings in that conversation after what happened in week 1, even though they're still winning with Carson Wentz. Didn't Carson Wentz get hurt? Did he come back with the Vikings?
He came back. But here's why I didn't go with the Vikings, Johns. It's like the Bears outplayed them for 3 quarters. Like when that game was over, I wasn't convinced the Vikings were better than the Bears.
I might include the Rams in that conversation because I think the Rams are just a very talented team on both sides of the ball.
I don't like the word definitely in this exercise because
that's the point of it. Because the point I'm trying to get to is I think there's like a cluster of teams in the middle that you could make an argument one way or the other, but we got to let the rest of the season play out to really see how these teams sort out.
Right. I mean, I think you're right with those 3. I'll go to that middle category, like who would be a favorite if they played the Bears, and then you're going Philly, Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota if it was in Minnesota, Tampa, San Francisco, Seattle, LA. I think if the Bears went to Arizona would be favored. But
I don't know now.
Well, yeah, yesterday was pretty bad. That NFC South is weird. I don't know what to make of Carolina. They've looked like the worst team in football half the season, or one of the worst teams in football. But yeah, I mean, look, you saw what happened to Philadelphia yesterday, and that. Can I just throw this one at you guys though? Thinking about the NFC, that Tampa Seattle game, would it be fun for the Bears to play in a game like that?
Yeah,
maybe Monday night. Maybe Monday night you get the flip of last year. Maybe like it's just Caleb Jaden just going shot for shot. That'd be a lot of fun. But I'm like watching that game and I'm like, man, what a fun game. Bears never get to play in games like this, but that could be coming.
Yeah, credit to Sam Darnold, who's carried over a lot of the stuff from the Vikings last year and is having a really good season, which has surprised me a little bit. So the teams that I would say are that the Bears are definitely better than the Panthers, the Giants, the Cowboys. We have the evidence of that. The Bears beat them pretty solidly. The Saints, good win for the Saints yesterday. They're still awful. And then the new, I don't know, I would have said this before yesterday, but I watched way too much of that Cardinals game. Kevin knows why. It was my lock of the week. They're out. The Cardinals they're a disaster right now. They might need to fire their offensive coordinator. It's not going well for them. So I think the Bears are better than the Cardinals too. So that leaves these, what do we got here? 8 teams, including the Bears, which is sort of my point here. The 49ers, the Packers, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Commanders, the Rams, although Johnsy put the Rams in the higher category, the Falcons, and the Bears. So 8 teams there for 4 playoff spots, essentially is how I would look at this. Like, let's say the Lions, Eagles, and Bucks are in. You got these 8 teams for 4 playoff spots. I like how you looked at this, Kev. How many of these teams would the Bears actually be favored against? Well, we know they're a 5-point underdog already to the Commanders this week. I'm not sure they're favored against any of these teams.
I would say if you're talking neutral field, maybe Atlanta, just because Atlanta hasn't shown a ton.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, you go through those. Yeah, I don't see how, based on what we've seen from the Bears so far, you can say that they should be favored against any of those teams definitively.
So at 2-2, I think the Bears have. This brings me back kind of full circle to the start of the show. gotten them to the point was how I was viewing the Patriots before last night's game. Like they're there. They're in the cluster of teams that could still make the playoffs, but I need to see more out of them before I'm going to start to say, hey, look, they can beat these teams in this cluster. I feel that way about the Patriots after what they did last night against the Bills. And you look ahead to the next month, they have a favorable schedule. They could very well put themselves in position to be in good shape going into November and December, which brings me back to the Bears. If the Bears can get this game against the Commanders, they're in a similar spot with the Saints coming up, banged up Bengals who look terrible. The Ravens, I still view that as a hard game going on the road to Baltimore, but they're now 1-4 and reeling. So there's some opportunity there if they can do what the Patriots did last night and get a tough win on the road. That's kind of the whole point of this conversation. I think they're in the playoff conversation. I think they need to show more before I'm going to be like, yeah, they can actually do this year.
You're talking about the type of performance from Caleb Williams that not only goes viral, but completely like galvanizes your team into believing what maybe they can accomplish together, like Drake May delivered. That's what we're saying. That's what we're talking about.
Well, and I think you saw that post game last night. I think you saw a Patriots team that clearly believes in their quarterback after what happened last night.
That stretch, though, Hogue, is because I think is the game after the Bengals, the New York Giants at home. I believe so. So you look at Giants and Saints. Again, none of these are given. We all know that. We've covered this team long enough. But
Bengals. I'm sorry. It goes. It goes Commanders, Saints, Ravens,
Bengals, Giants,
then Giants, then at Vikings.
The Bears will be favored against the Saints. They'll be favored against the Giants. They might be favored in Cincinnati.
I think they will be at this point.
Yeah,
I think they will be.
And then, so that's right. Like, but those wins are going to be important because you got to win those games if you're trying to be a serious team. And that's where this Monday night against the Commanders comes into play. Like, what can you prove? Can you go on the road against a playoff team and a really good quarterback and beat them? I mean, that's the type of win that this team just they haven't had those.
You're looking at two games here, I think, specifically. I feel like we have to wrap up this conversation. It's Washington and in Baltimore, where if you're the Bears, you want your quarterback to elevate not only his game, but everyone else's game. That raise your boats type of performance where he's able to take his team to a different level, whether it's on Monday night against Jaden Daniels or then later on the road against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, an MVP like every single year. Like, that's when you need your quarterback to not have 3 and outs. You need to have more than complimentary football. You need that type of performance that you're talking about in terms of Baker Mayfield going toe-to-toe with Sam Darnold, where you have quarterbacks dueling it out. You need a Drake May-like performance where he's outplaying Josh Allen on the road on primetime. Like, that's the type of performance you want to be talking about, at least in these two games, if we're going to wrap this 5-game segment up, because let's face it, the Saints don't have a quarterback. The Giants, Jackson Dart, I don't know, and Joe Burrow's out in Cincinnati. So if you want to bring this to the conversation about quarterbacks, you're looking Jaden Daniels, Monday Night Football, and then 2 weeks from now on the road in Baltimore against Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry might combine for 500 rushing yards that day. So Caleb will have to put together a 7-touchdown performance.
I don't know. Something wrong. Derrick Henry's on my fantasy team. There's something wrong. I don't know what's happening. But
fumbling the ball.
Well, there was something wrong with Ashton Genty, and then the Bears came to town.
Great point. Although I didn't think that was really Ashton Genty's fault.
Right.
All right, couple more for you, Kev, before we let you go. TJ Edwards, speaking of the run defense, great segue. TJ Edwards, Kyler Gordon expected to return this week. Bears badly need them for multiple reasons, but how much do you think that their return will help fix what's going on in the Bears' run defense right now?
I think Kyler Gordon might help more than TJ Edwards in a sense. And I don't want to take anything away from TJ Edwards. I just think Noah Sewell's played pretty well. But I mean, that Kyler Gordon, I think one of the things that makes him so good is his run defense and the way that he can get guys, his blitzing and tackles for loss. I think back to that one against Carolina he had a couple years ago. It's a great play, great TFL in that win. So I just think that, and Nick McLeod's been fine from a coverage standpoint, but I think the upgrade you get there from run defense matters. And aren't you guys still fascinated to see what Dennis Allen's going to do with him? We haven't seen it because he hasn't played. Like, this was supposed to be this ultimate chess piece for DA, and we haven't gotten to see it yet. So I'm fascinated to see that. I mean, having TJ Edwards is huge. He's a veteran. He's just reliable. There were moments last year where the defense was falling apart, and every week you could count on one player pretty much, and that was TJ Edwards. Like, he was the one guy that seemed to continue to make plays week after week. But I think, again, I'm not sliding TJ Edwards. I am just kind of want to give some flowers to Noah Sewell because I think he has played really well.
I actually think both their returns are going to help immensely. To me, it comes down to tackling. They're both very good tacklers. It's as simple as that. Like, they take the ball carrier to the ground. They're not dipping their heads. They're not missing arm tackles. They are taking ball carriers to the ground. And, like, there was something that happened in that Ravens game with, like, it's Ruben Hippolyte not playing, like, at all on defense. Right. I think once you get TJ Edwards back, I think the Bears coaching staff is going to feel confident playing in their base defense again, where you could have Sewell at your strong side linebacker. Then you have Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards out there, where you could better combat some of these formations that these opposing offenses want to send at you, especially the Washington Commanders, who we all know want to run the football.
All right. Last one, sort of a guy who's been forgotten about here in the first 4 weeks of the season because he's been on injured reserve. Austin Booker could be eligible to at least have his practice window opened up and come off of injured reserve. Bears need some type of spark in their pass rush, really just on their defensive line in general. What is your level of faith or confidence, however you want to put it, that Austin Booker could provide just that? I'm not setting the bar any higher than that, but just a spark to the pass rush whenever it is he returns, because we don't know if it's going to be this week or if he still needs more time. I did see him in the locker room, though, last Tuesday before everybody left for the bye, walking around. So we'll see. But what's your level of confidence that maybe Austin Booker here can provide some level of spark to the pass rush?
Here's some trivia for you guys. Who leads the Bears in sacks?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Who is it?
Wow.
Dominic Robinson?
Hoge? Do you have a guess?
I don't even know if I have a guess. That's so crazy.
I didn't know the answer to this until
is
I
it
pulled
Trevon
it up.
Dexter?
It's a 5-way tie between Montez Sweat, Dio Dengbo, Dominique Robinson, Trevon Dexter, and Tano Capasino. Each have 1 sack. Nobody on the Bears has more than 1 sack.
Oh my God!
Through 4 games.
At least those were all defensive linemen you named, right? I didn't.
That's true.
Okay.
Progress.
It's not like the year that Jaquan Brisker led the Bears in sacks.
Correct. I bring that up because, to your question, Hoge, how could he not provide something relative to what the Bears have shown? And I go back to Dennis Allen, who's been phenomenal with these third down defenses and mixing things up and confusing quarterbacks. And now you get a different type of edge rusher who we saw what he did in the preseason. He's built well for the spot. So I don't know how long it's going to take for him to really get in a rhythm, but you just, maybe it's 10 snaps on Monday night. Maybe it's 15, 20 the next week. But yeah, it'd be hard for him to not provide a spark because that is what you're getting right now from your pass rush. And I like the idea that he's going to have somebody else that he could work with that could just mix things up a little bit because it's been, those guys have not done a whole lot as far as sack production goes.
Because the Bears have been pretty good on third downs, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, best in the league. Okay, so yeah. I'm remembering that correctly. Well, 29.3%. That's actually outstanding. I think what I like most about Austin Booker returning to the lineup is that he's just different than every other pass rusher they have, where he's smaller and he's faster. He's not Dio Dangbo. He doesn't have the same build as Montez Sweat, because I feel like all the other defensive ends have a similar build, a similar physical makeup. Austin Booker, he's thinner, but he's faster. And I think that type of juice, that type of energy, something just different from that pass rush physically, from an athlete standpoint, should benefit the Bears at least a little bit.
Kevin, appreciate your time this morning, especially because we took up way more than what people realized here on the show. So thank you for your patience. And what's your here, we'll leave you on this. What's your a week away? What's your initial gut feeling on this Bears Commanders game? I'll tell you my initial gut feeling. I think the line's a little too high at 5.
Yeah, I think the line's a little too high. And one thing I'm a little worried about is Penn State coming off that terrible loss against UCLA. Now they play Northwestern at home on Saturday. Yeah. And I fear for my Wildcats that they are going to take it out on them after losing to UCLA. So I think Northwestern can play ugly in the first half, keep it low scoring, but might have to rely on some trick plays to pull off the upset in Happy Valley.
Yeah. I take back everything I said about being grateful for your time and patience. But I'm glad you got that in there. Big win for the Cats over Louisiana Monroe.
Huge. Confidence builder.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Kev.
See you. See, if Kevin was doing things properly, he would go to the game at Penn State and then on his way to D.C. on Monday night. It's close enough. You could pull that off.
Yeah, sounds like a nice long weekend.
Yeah. All right. We have to take our one time out of the show. We'll come back with a couple more thoughts to close things out, and which will include one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life on Friday night. I think it was that good. It needs to be brought up. So we will address that coming up next. But first.
All right, Adam. Fall's here. I think it was 85 degrees.
Oh, I think it's coming today, actually.
Soon?
I think like this afternoon, it is actually arriving.
Well, I don't know if you were like me this weekend watching football, but I was sweaty, a little bit smelly on the sideline. I think I'm always like that, getting hot, heated, maybe. You were in a big high school game, but you know the feeling. It's game day. You've been working hard all week. Your lucky jersey, your lucky coaching shirt might be smelling a little too lucky, but let's be honest.
Not another coaching search. Come on.
Oh, we're all.
You're just programmed. You're just programmed.
Yeah, we are. But let's be honest. Regular deodorant just doesn't cut it after a long day. But there's a real game changer out there. Mando deodorant plus sweat control. This isn't just another cover-up. Mando is one stick, 2 jobs. Powerful odor and sweat control. It actually stops odor before it even starts. No more masking, just freshness. Clinical strength sweat control. One swipe, and you're good to go. Deodorant re-engineered to stop odor before it starts. How about that? So get Mando's starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. It starts with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code CHGO at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.
And our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. Sunnyside is always your home for judgment-free shopping wherever you're at in Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you, or you can just check them out at sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter code HICHGO at checkout to qualify, or if you're a returning customer, you can use CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Adam, we were talking about our gut feelings, or you have your gut feeling for this Washington Commanders game. Kevin had his. My gut feeling on this Monday morning is that I think like maybe it's just because I hope but I want to see some fireworks from Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. Like, I want to see that showcase matchup come through for our coverage, for this conversation, for what it could mean to Chicago, to have the Bears' young quarterback deliver in another key moment. Like, he delivered. Let's not forget, like, he delivered on the road in Washington against that team. Like, he wasn't on the field for the Hail Mary. But before that, like, he delivered for the Bears. I think he does even better this time in his return home to Washington. Now, can he keep up with Jaden Daniels? I think he can. But I want to see a fireworks show. Like, that's what my gut is telling me right now Monday morning.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden came back looking pretty good yesterday. They fell behind 10-0. Then the Chargers just, I don't even know. They just like stopped. Now they're really banged up too, and they got injuries all over their offensive line. But it seems like everybody is at this point. Commanders, Terry McLaurin probably still out. It seems like, but Debo's getting a ton of share in that offense. And we just don't know what the Bears are going to be coming out of a bye yet. We have no evidence of, what Ben Johnson's like coming out of a bye week. I'm guessing he spent the week when he wasn't at Wrigley Field obsessing over ways to jumpstart the offense.
Can I say something about that? Like, I like that he was at Wrigley Field. Good for him.
Yeah, me too. I was kind of hoping. There was a lot of stars came out at Wrigley last week. We'll see if they get more than one game this week at home. The way game one went.
Yeah.
By the way, we should say, if CHGO Cubs got you covered for all your Cubs coverage this week with the NLDS, and it being Monday, got game 2 tonight. Make sure you check out their watch along and their post game show as well. Johns, you've been missing out because Portillo's has just been bringing in food, hanging out with the Cubs crew.
I saw the cake get delivered.
Yeah, the cake, I managed to be here at the right time last week, and I got a burger out of it, so that was fantastic.
Underrated part of Portillo's menu, everybody, for listening. Like, every tourist that comes to town is thinking, I got to get the hot dog, I got to get the Italian beef. I would get the beef over the hot dog, number one. There's better hot dog places around the city. But the underrated item on that menu is actually the cheeseburger. It's fantastic.
So, I don't know if I should say this out loud. That was my first ever Portillo's burger.
Oh, dude.
And I didn't know that. And Tony Gill is saying the same thing. He was like, how you never had a Portillo's burger? I'm like, I just not what I get there. I go there for beef and hot dogs usually. And my son will probably order pasta.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I agree. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was really good.
They make a very good Chicago chopped salad as well.
Yeah, the salad's solid. All right, so before we get out of here, Friday night, what did Notre Dame do, by the way?
They had a lead on Joliet Catholic in the fourth quarter, but Joliet Catholic made a few more plays on the road to pull out the win.
It's tough. I don't know why, but we haven't played Joliet Catholic or Notre Dame a ton, it feels like.
It's the leveling.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing. I'll never understand it. Carmel Montini Friday night was one of the craziest, most entertaining games I've ever seen. Unfortunately, we were on the wrong end of it at the end after going for 2, going for the win, which we had to do.
As you should have.
Yeah. No second guessing that at all. Amazingly, there's still 27. We didn't get it. Their linebacker, I'm honestly not sure if it was their linebacker safety, made an insane tackle, like the half-yard line on the 2-point conversion. When we ran the play, it was a great play call. I thought it was a walk-in touchdown. The great plays. Sometimes the other team makes plays. You got to give them credit. There's still 27 seconds left on the clock. We actually got the onside kick and still had a chance. And then there's a holding penalty in there, and it just didn't work out. But 55-54 with
it's like a high school basketball game.
But with legit 2 of the best quarterbacks, not only in the state of Illinois, but they're ranked 2nd and 4th nationally in next year's class, 2027. Israel Abrams from Montini and our guy Trey Taylor, who really just did not flinch in a crazy game, and we were struggling to get stops, and he would just go back out there and make another throw and another throw and another throw. It was just a bonkers game. It was cool to see, a game with a lot of hype live up to the billing. Shout out to Mark Potash, who I think he's come out to a Carmel game every year that I've been coaching, and he came to a good one on Friday night. So
and he sat on the opposing sideline as he.
Yeah, that's what he does.
As the contrarian,
and he tweets
we'll
about
do.
special teams, and
I know we have a lot of out of country, out of state listeners here, but Trey Taylor, he's committed to Nebraska. Illinois, this part of Illinois, everybody, for some reason right now has some of the best quarterback prospects in the entire country. Lincoln Way East, which is just south of Chicago, Jonah Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is going to, or he was committed to Oregon. Now he's committed to USC, but he has had numerous offers for years.
Yeah, it's fun. It's there's a lot of good, and it's not just the quarterbacks. I've always felt like Illinois is underrated when it comes to our high school talent, but there's been a lot of other good games like Mount Carmel and Brother Rice the other night. Katie, what was the final night? You were there, you said. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the Catholic League.
Those two teams specifically are loaded with 10 or 12 Division I players.
It's crazy.
Going to some of the best programs in the entire country.
Yeah, it's cool. I just wanted to bring it up. So, unfortunately, my son took the biggest hit of the game.
I saw that
on the sideline, and
Now, did the kicking net actually catch him, or did he go through it?
No, that was the other kid. There were two kids that were taken out.
Geez.
Yeah, it was cool though. After the game, I think they were both hurting pretty good, and they were both when Trey makes it to the NFL, we're going to be able to say that we got, crushed on the sideline by an NFL player. So I don't know if my son was quite around to that hype yet, but he'll be fine. I actually didn't even realize how bad it was till I saw the film the next morning. I was sitting there with my wife, we're drinking coffee, and I was looking at the film, I found the play, and I was like, oh my God, that's way worse than I thought it was.
He was doing a good job of getting out of the way too. He was well past the player line.
Oh no, he did. That's one of those where Trey got shoved as he's going out of bounds. Someone's getting hit on the sideline. Yeah. It was just unfortunate that, it was him and another one of our kids. So, it's all right. He was at hockey practice just fine Saturday and Sunday. He's a tough guy.
He's a hockey player now.
But yeah. All right. Good bye week edition coming out of the bye. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll hear from Ben Johnson tomorrow at Hallis Hall, so we'll have some content from Hallis to discuss as the week gets going. And then, of course, we'll be back Friday with our preview episode. And this is just one of those weeks. I always say it. Whenever they play on Monday night, it just feels like it's only one extra day, but it feels like two because it's also a night game. Sunday at noon all the way to Monday night. That's a long time. So
it's more than 24 hours, Adam.
Yeah, it is. Good math. And then we'll flip like that, and the Saints game will be here before you know it. So we'll have you covered all week, as always. Also, check out CHGO Bears. Got another show coming up today there at 1 p.m. And throughout the week, we will have you covered every single day over there and really all of our shows. Blackhawks start tomorrow night.
Wow.
Against the defending champions, Florida Panthers. So our Hawks guys will have you covered. And then actually going in the home opener on Saturday night with James against the Canadiens.
Montreal. And, it's the best thing about October. It's the 1 month where you get all four major sports playing.
Yep. Bulls preseason starting up. Bulls guys will have you covered. And, of course, CHGO Cubs with the playoffs happening. Great week. You want to be right here locked in to both CHGO Sports and Hoge Jahns. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. We'll sleep in January. or maybe even February. That's what I like to say. All right. See you on Wednesday.